Well, hello everybody and happy Tuesday. We are moving through January like wildfire, aren't we? Araya AndaRa here, coming to you live from For the Love of Dragons. Dragon Lady speaking on some questions. We got some great questions this week, and following up these full moon energies from yesterday, actually. I've had a lot of great information come in. I'm excited to share it in my upcoming program. It starts next Tuesday. So anybody that's still feeling a heart hit towards quantum flight, of being literally launched into your ascension journey with the dragons and moving, not just leaps. We're not doing big steps anymore. We're not doing giant leaps. We are literally launching each phase of the journey, and I've got so much exciting information to share. I can't wait to kick that off. Amazing group has come together, and if you're feeling that heart pulse, that call inside that you've meant to do it, you just, wow, I forgot to do the application, or I'm just hearing about it, tell me more, please get a hold of me, araya@invokilling.com or araya@dragonwithin.com. I'll get you the application. We'll get to an interview call this week so that you're online to start next Tuesday. 8 weeks, 8 amazing weeks is in store, and it's gonna be wild ride, I know. So let's go into this week's question. Super exciting. One of my previous students and clients actually asked about the dimensional energies of the lineages of the dragons, and I want to make sure that everyone recognizes and remembers this information is available to you in your books. So maybe you don't have the Dragon Within book yet. You'll get it off this video if you don't feel like investing in that. But if you haven't yet, that guidebook, The Dragon Within, it's in ebook, it's in print, soft or hard copy, in 3 languages, coming out in 4th soon. It's all, the translation's complete. I just have to put the format in for the new PDF version to have an ebook for Dutch. So we've got English, French, Spanish, and Dutch on the way. But in that book, there's so many tools to work with the dragons, to remember how to do that, to remember how to open to that energy, and then you can start calling and working with others once you know the pattern, once you remember how to do that. Anyway, within that, there's a diagram. One of the tools in there is a beautiful diagram of a trine, the trines of lineages, dimensionally up all the way to Andromeda. So if we look at that and we see there's power, there's love, and there's wisdom trine. Those lineages, for example, tell you moving upward, if I'm dealing with power issues, or the black dragon is showing up and I can follow that and see that he's in the power lineage, then I know that any of those dragons also within that lineage, I can call in for assistance directly. If I'm feeling certain issues, if I know that I'm having heart issues, I can go into the love lineage. If I know that I'm trying to access ancient memory, cellular memory, any type of wisdom or question around that, I can access what starts with air dragons here in elemental earth for us, but that's the wisdom lineage. So there's that representation of energy that goes up hierarchically, but then to recognize where the hierarchy is dimensionally, it doesn't mean they can't be within more dimensions than that, because the dragons actually have a capacity to bridge multiple dimensions simultaneously. I've seen most dragons anywhere from 3 to 5 that they can hold that bandwidth. So if they come all the way down close to 3D, maybe they're coming into 4th or right at the edge, then they can bridge up to 7, 8, 9 with their presence simultaneously. Some larger dragons, some of the older, more ancient beings, the much bigger vibrational frequency dragons, they can do more. But on average, I would say look at 3 to 5. But in that chart, when you want to know, all right, I've got this copper dragon coming in working with me, what dimension is he coming from? If you can't tap into and realize that his core dimensional framework that he holds is a 5th dimensional platform, that the dragons of Orion are holding a 5th dimensional framework for us to access and begin to work with, so that we remember how to work within, maneuver within that 5th dimensional framework. It's going to look a little different than the one we're creating for New Earth that we're stepping into, but because that framework is accessible, we get all the information about the interrelationship of the energy and the structures within that to work with. So when you look at that chart, if you have the book, If you don't yet, I definitely encourage you to get it. dragonwithin.com. Hello, Ingor. I've got some of my dragon hearts here today. So when you look at that, here we are in 3D. Dragons come in and they work with us. You will notice in that bridging of their energies, sometimes they'll come in and be very, like, you can see their form, you can feel their wings, you can like get a whole solid picture. That's when they're dropping in the closest dimensionally to us, closest down to like a 4D representation, almost into the 3D to get that physical visual. Sometimes they come in and they stay in a very high vibration where you know it's dragon, and they are just bringing a color band in for you to recognize. Oh, I had that this morning in a session. That's a turquoise dragon. Thought it was very interesting to fit with why I knew I had to get turquoise with the diamonds on it, because that was the energy of that the first session of the day going into that. So if you see or know they're staying very etheric, they're staying very high, then you're going to say, all right, where are you bridging? Show me what dimensional framework you're in, because they're staying higher purposely to bring you towards that or bridge those higher energies into you for whatever's opening within you. But back to the table. So we've got our Middle Earth and our Deep Earth dragons. They are what I consider to be like maybe 3.5, 3.4, or 3.8. That the Middle Earth dragons are still part of 3D, but they're a higher dimensional octave of 3D than where we are. So I like to put sort of a, because I have a mathematical mind, I would say, all right, say third dimension has all these layers, 3.1 to 3.10. Just like you understand operating systems on computers, right? So if we're at 3.1 or 3.0, and the Middle Earth dragons, where the cities of Telos, the cities of light, all that's going on, maybe that's 3.5. And the Deep Earth dragons are much closer to the crystalline core bridge. They're like 3.8. So beyond that, when you look at the trines, the Orion dragons are the first ones that we work with there. That's 5th dimensional. Going up to Sirius, 6th dimensional. The Pleiadian dragons, it's represented as one trine. I have updated the chart since the printing of the book that now incorporates all the new dragons that have come in. So including all the Deep Earth, including all of the 3 trines of Pleiadians. So the Pleiadians are 7th, 8th, and 9th. So that band in your book, you can put 7 through 9. And then you move up and you've got Nibiru Stellaris, 10th dimension. And then you go up into Arcturus, the AndaRa Dragons. They touch in on the 11th, and then Andromeda is the 12th. So that framework will give you an idea if you're having Lyran dragons come in, or even Lyran hybrid. There are dragon lion hybrids coming from the Lyran system, or the rainbow realms, or others. You will know that they are operating at least at a 7th, 8th dimensional bandwidth, because they use the Pleiades as a doorway to access it. So it's like a travel hub, sort of like a big international airport hub that they use to then get a direct flight here. Some energies are starting to bridge directly, depending on the individual or the area, if there's a Stargate near their planets, whatever, or it's somewhere on the planet. But typically, you're going to have higher vibrational 7th or above coming from those other systems. So the Lyran system, the Rainbow Realms, just know, and you can inquire. So if you're working with a dragon that you don't necessarily recognize, well, I can feel your color, I can get an essence of you, but I don't know particularly what lineage you fit in. Inquire, just tell me if it's important to you to know, and oftentimes you don't really need to know. But there are people that are working with specific things and they want the answer to this question. So you can ask the dragon that's working with you, can you reveal to me what dimension you're either coming from and the dimension that we're working in? Because they're not necessarily the same. So hopefully that gives some insight. You can always refer back, as I said, to the diagram in your book. That's one of the most useful tools. And I will tell you that just like the dragon symbols, so I have those pendants on the site that have the dragon symbols from the book for the elementals, for the black, white, and crystal, for the Orion dragons, that those 13 crystal or symbols carry a lot of energy. So I created the pendants with them, and I use them as keychains. I love having the dragon energy when I'm going to different places with my keys. But all of that energy is the dimensional representation to get you started. And those are the ones we're going to be associated with most often. But the dragons can move beyond that. And I knew, and going back to the original point of this, when I created the diagram, when I created the symbols, I did not understand the deeper meanings of them. I was strictly in a space of opening, being that channel to bring the information through, saw the symbols, drew them, had someone create them for me graphically. I now understand, and having taught the Dragonheart program for the last 4 years, so much deeper information came through about what the symbols actually mean, how to interpret them for our journey, both in and out, that our inception journey, our journey coming in, we're mirroring it on the way out. So if we remember how we got here, we can remember how to get out of here in the ascension journey. That you might not realize how important the symbols are in the book for each of those dragons, and visually to receive that information by looking at them, by using them, that they actually carry more than you imagine. I didn't even realize that until actually going through and teaching the material and having new levels of information that I was finally ready to remember come in. It's the same with the diagram. I created that. I understood how they were presenting, that it was in layers. They showed me the layers. And now I understand the triangulation of energies down in much more deeply. I understand the hierarchies and how much more useful that diagram is in my journey than I originally even attributed it to when I put it in the book. So there's always more layers. We're always advancing and remembering more. I encourage you to use the tools that you have. And if you don't have the book and it's not your thing, just write down, go back and re-listen to this so that you have, oh, Orion, Sirius, Pleiades, in that ascending order dimensionally to give you that insight when they come in. So the other question today, which I really, really like, because a lot of us probably feel this, but don't necessarily contemplate it. And I allow the dragons to speak to me and give me their insight. And so the second question that I got, it was on a comment on the YouTube channel. And I love, if you're not using the YouTube channel and you're only listening here on the lives when you catch them or in the feed, if you have a specific question that you want to go back and research or learn more about with the dragons, I have done 4 years of weekly videos now. There are well over 100 videos. They're on a dragon playlist on the Invoke Healing International YouTube channel, and I will put a link to it in the description of this later. You can subscribe on that, and every live that I do, I automatically the same day upload it in YouTube, because it's more searchable by topic to go through the list and scroll, or even just to scroll and look for what's calling you. Everything's about heart impulse now. I gotta listen to that one right now. Follow your gut, follow your intuition. The same with working with dragons in the book. You don't have to follow a specific order anymore. Well, they must be more important to us, because we're totally helpless. We need their help. Yes, Angor, I know it. Of course they're super important to us. They are helping us on our ascension journey. They are helping us very efficiently and quickly move a lot of debris and energetic stuff out of our field, and to open and open and open, that they trigger so many openings. So how can we be as important to them? And the piece I want to bring in for you to feel into on your own, go in and ask this question yourself, and have the dragons that are around you answer it and show you how important you are to them. One, some of those dragons are in service, and as they do it from their heart, they do it out of love. But at the same time, they're having soul experience for their own increase in wisdom and learning, which raises their own vibrational level in their, it's sort of like graduating classes or levels, to be in service, to come and directly work with especially lower vibrational third dimensional beings. They learn a lot, but they give a lot, and they take away. And so they're earning, you might say, calling stars, or earning little caps in their own expansion. So in that way, we're important to them. But the bigger piece that hit my heart was, we're their family. How important is your family to you? We think, oh, these beings are coming in and they're helping, and, you know, aren't they great? They're so important to me. They feel exactly the same way about us, because we're their younger sister, or we're their auntie, or we're their peer, their best friend that we serve together in some different place. And here, I just want to give a shout out. I see Willeke from Netherlands just popped on. I want to give a big shout out to her. My whole body's tingling because she is actually the one that has done the translation into Dutch for the Netherlands to enjoy their dragons. And that is such a labor of love, and just how much journey we go through when we do something like that. So even just talking, it's funny that you came on when I'm talking about how the dragons are in service to us. And how it expands them, because when we are in service, we get expanded. Everything we do in service for others expands us. But so a big thank you to Willeke there. We're all just going to give her a round of applause for actually going through that process and allowing that to be something that's now going to be available as soon as I can do my part and get it in its format. So if we are the dragon's family, if we know we're dragon, that means we've come from one of these realms to be in body at this time. Whether we chose ourselves or we were chosen, we were the ones that were okay. We were approved to come down to be here because of the role we could play and hold our own soul's expansion desire. So all of the dragons that are around you, the majority of them are family. Of course you are stunningly important to them. And they are cheering you on, they are celebrating, they are possibly more excited about your ascension than you are, if that's possible. Because I'm so excited because, you know, you just feel like I'm done with this realm. I'm ready to move forward. And yet there's more to do here. So in answer to that question, I loved it. I would love to have you guys on your own sit and feel that. Ask that. How important are the dragons to me? What role do they play? Am I giving them enough credit or importance in my journey, which sometimes means our time? Am I giving enough time for them to connect with me and do the work they need to do? To wake me up, to show me, to open me. And then reflect on the inverse of how important am I to them? Because when you have that realization inside of indeed how important you are, I think it's going to be one of those little aha moments of reconnection and realization that sort of changes us. So I'm really grateful that it was a woman named Dana that asked this question. I'm going to make sure that she sees this new video going up so that she has the answer. And I'm really grateful that you guys are here today. I love my dragon family, and coming to you guys each week like this, it's joy for me. So even as me, as big maybe mama dragon with her dragon family gathering in this space, I can very clearly feel and have that knowing of what those dragons that are coming from the higher dimensional realms feel when they are working with us. It's just like that family gathering. It brings so much joy. So thank you for being here. If you have questions, man, send them to me. Email is probably the most direct to make sure I see it every day. I check my email multiple times through the day. Unless, of course, I'm on vacation, and then I try to avoid it at all costs. But this connection that we have, you don't have to sit with questions. You don't have to try and rationalize it out on your own. That's what I'm here for. And honestly, I love the questions because there's sometimes questions that I would never normally ask or have come up in my field. And yet, as the answers come, it brings more levels of what I can share for lots of other, to lots of other people. And it just keeps the volumes of information expanding that we have to share with each other and keep us all growing. So I'm going to call that this week being complete. We are starting next Tuesday. If you're still feeling drawn to quantum flight, please let me know so that we can get that interview call set up this week before next Tuesday. And if you know, like, I'm not ready for a program, but I want to get my feet wet, I don't know what to do with the dragons first, I have discovery calls, 20 minutes with me, free, usually by phone for United States people, Zoom with all others so that I can connect internationally easily. But if you need 20 minutes to say, hey, I need some direction, that's what they're there for. You just go to my Book Now button, takes you to the calendar. The Book Now is on the homepage of either site, invokehealing.com or dragonwithin.com. And then we connect and get you rolling forward. I guarantee you once we connect, like, energy starts to move. Those of you that have done sessions with me, if you need something bigger, know that the energy starts working 24 to 48 hours before we actually connect on the physical plane and things start moving. So that's what I love about my work. I love that I am an impetus and a trigger for energy to start moving. And those that have done the programs, they know, like, their life has never been the same. Things change radically. They change in a big way. And so I'm excited to see how in 8 weeks instead of 8 months, how much happens for this group that's starting. And it's, like I said, it's an amazing group that has come together. The vibration level in it, the masters that are in it. I'm super excited to just dive in and see what's the exponential of. It's probably twice the size group that I normally work with. The dragons told me, shorten it, expand it. You can hold that many. It's going to expand you. It's going to expand them. And we're going to have powerhouse with double the size of the normal groups that I do. So super excited about that. Anyway, have a great week. Enjoy the movement towards new moon, this big expanded full moon energy that you're in, and bring the moon dragon in. We've got a lot of diamond energy right now, and we have definitely the full moon energy with the moon dragon present. So maybe that's an exploration into dragons you haven't worked with yet. Call them in. Call them in. They're ready to bring something new and exciting to your journey of awakening and remembrance. All right. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.